Hello everyone and welcome to the video. 1 year ago I made a video about how I lost 15 kilograms in 3 months. It is still the most popular video on the channel and you too can watch it here, maybe here. Today, exactly 1 year after, I want to do some sort of a checkpoint and reflect on how did the advice from that video help me in the long run, what kind of weight loss strategies I picked up along the way, and most importantly, was I able to keep that weight off? Let's see.
The first thing I talked about was making conscious food choices. I have to admit that I stopped counting calories after about 6 months. It is, in fact, tedious, and after 6 months of daily tracking, I eventually gave up. Nevertheless, I must say that tracking calories was, in my opinion, the most valuable thing that I've done back then, because there is no other way to figure out how much you actually eat and by how much you need to cut down if you want to lose weight. And as I said in the original video, I can almost guarantee that everyone underestimates how much calories they consume. And if you're one of those people, then it's not your fault actually, because there is so many added calories to everything that we eat these days that no wonder that we have a sandwich and then boom, 1,000 calories. So I'm not counting calories, not using any apps, and I'm not even doing any rough calculations in my head, as apparently you can start doing if you've been counting calories for a while. That said, I still remember that some foods carry more calories than I should eat. So whenever I sit down to eat, I'm able to kind of subjectively judge like, wow, that's too many calories, or, oh great, that looks fine. Most often than not, anyone could do the same thing. For example, if you look at a pizza or burgers and a beer, but sometimes you need that calorie tracking confidence to make a decision that maybe you only need half of that fettuccine alfredo. Yes, this absolutely sounds like bro science, but that's exactly what I do now, and it doesn't work all of the time, if it works at all. But what I want to say is that somehow I am still able to regulate the amount of food that I eat, even though I'm not exactly counting calories. And with that, I finished my salad, because the next thing I suggested in the original video was substituting dinner with a salad. And by that I still stand. With some deviations from time to time, I had a salad with some proteins every day of this year. I would say that an average dinner for me would look like this. Air-fried chicken, thighs by the way, not breast, ooh, frozen veggies, and a salad with mozzarella cheese, maybe tuna or some other canned fish, and avocado. Now, let me eat my salad and then I'll move on to the next part. Part 2 was about being very specific with your activity or sports goals. And this is still very true, and I stand by it. My step goal is set to 11K, and I make a verbal note every time I reach that goal. Normally, this looks like this. We're walking somewhere with my wife, and at a random moment, I would go,
Oh cool, 11K steps.
and however insignificant this may sound, it has become just an absolute habit of mine to acknowledge that I reached that goal again and to check a couple of times during the day how I'm doing with those steps. In terms of actual sports, I am still running and cycling from 2 to 4 times a week. And here I made an adjustment to that specificity rule. I have a goal for running, which now is a half marathon in June in Munich, but I deliberately chose not to have any specific goals with cycling, at least for now. Preparing for a half marathon includes not only running workouts, but also strength and flexibility training, which is more than enough work in itself. So to top it off with something else with cycling would be just too much for me. I would accumulate too much fatigue and break down completely. The last advice was about making a habit of everything. So for example, adding training and specific dietary rules in a to-do list. I don't know about you, but I am definitely a type of person who forgets everything that wasn't written down. So for me, a to-do list is a must. And now I pushed it even further. Now I add my workouts in my work calendar, but as private events. So since they're marked as private, my colleagues cannot actually see what I am doing at 8 a.m. or 7 p.m. or on the weekends. But I am definitely looking at those blockers for 100 times per day. So there is no way I am forgetting about them. Also, until recently, I had taken vitamins on a to-do list. Then at some point I figured that it's already engraved in my brain enough, so I can actually take it down. So I guess this definitely helped me, although some people would call this behavior neurotic, and I wouldn't even object to that. This helped me do more sports and develop some healthy habits, but potentially added some unhealthy ones along the way as well. And finally, the big question. How am I doing in terms of keeping those 15 kilograms off? I'm happy to report that I'm doing fantastic. 1 year ago, I weighed 115 kilograms, and I'm currently at 102 kilograms, which means that I gained only 2 kilograms back. And given the fact that some of it is water and that I wasn't perfectly consistent throughout the year, I feel super proud of myself. However, I still see a lot of room for improvement every time I look in the mirror, so the journey continues. And I hope that if I make a video like this next year, I will be in an even better form than now.
Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. And if you are on a weight loss journey too, I wish you all success in the world.